If you've been working from home during the pandemic, you know all too well the challenges of shutting off during non-work hours. Now, Ontario is taking steps to help workers better manage their work-life balance. The province is introducing legislation that, if passed, would require some companies to create right to disconnect policies.
The future of work is already here. If we want to be leaders, we need to adapt quickly. Ontario cannot be a province where people burn out from endless work and family time comes last. We need to give our workers a break. We were agile enough to transition to working from home, so I know we can lead the way to the workplaces of tomorrow.
For more on the proposed legislation, let's check in with the CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick in Toronto. So, Megan, what can you tell us about the right to disconnect?
Well, the legislation is going to require companies that have more than 25 employees to create their own right to disconnect from work policy. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Every company will be able to make their own sort of tailor-made policy, Andrew, depending on what kind of work they do, what kind of workforce they have, and kinds of employees. But the aim here is it's all about work-life balance. And Monty McNaughton saying that the pandemic has highlighted all too well how the lines are too often blurred between personal time and work time, and that he hopes this will improve employees' mental health. Now, we spoke to an employment lawyer earlier on News Network who said he wanted to play devil's advocate because he did point out some people, when they have been working from home during the pandemic, that there are some upsides to it. They like the flexibility. They like the convenience it provides to them. Take a listen to what else he said and what employers should keep in mind as they craft these policies.
There are a lot of people who don't necessarily want that hard division between work time and personal time. A lot of people have enjoyed the work-life integration that we've experienced in the last year and a half, where instead of working from 9 to 5 straight, perhaps you take some time to go pick up your kids from school or to go meet a friend for coffee or do some errands, and then you make up that time in the evening. So that's something else that companies should take into account when they design their policies, is not everyone wants that clean break, but there is going to have to be a very clear rule as to when people are expected and when they're not expected to be available for work. Otherwise, you're just going to have, the chaos which we're really seeing now in some places.
So these policies might have things, Andrew, like setting expectations for response time to emails or encouraging employees to turn on their out-of-office notifications during non-work hours. So again, every company can come up with their own, but the Labour Minister is saying that his ministry's inspectors will be following up with companies to ensure they have created these policies. Not sure yet what the deadline is. We'll look to the legislation for that answer. Perhaps it'll be in there in terms of when this legislation is passed. The Ford government does have a majority. They'll be able to pass this when companies would be required to put these policies into effect.
And another aspect to the bill is a ban on non-compete clauses. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is a pretty significant step the province is taking too, also making it the first jurisdiction in Canada to do this, according to the government. The government is saying that contracts too often are restricting employees from taking new jobs with another business. That it's holding them back in their career advancement. And this is simply unfair. Monty McNaughton called this a disturbing trend when companies put these non-compete clauses in people's contracts. Here's what else he said.
There is no reason for workers here to be vastly underpaid compared to their American counterparts. By proposing to ban these agreements, we would help workers advance in their careers and improve Ontario's ability to attract top talent. And that's what we need right now. Top talent from new industries to help us strengthen our economy and our resilience.
So he's presenting this as sort of a win-win, Andrew, a benefit for the workers and also a benefit for the province. He says making Ontario more competitive, giving it a competitive edge. It'll be interesting to see the reaction, though, from some big employers who might not be happy with this news and what the government is intending to do. Again, we'll look for the legislation once it's tabled in the legislature at Queen's Park for the details. It's going to be a pretty big piece of legislation that will also include a number of measures the government announced last week that it says will help protect workers in this province.
Megan, thank you. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick live in Toronto.